Jay-Z's multiple financial ventures, his musical career, and his marriage to the stunning Queen Bee Beyoncé have all contributed to his extensive and varied levels of success. However, there are still many absurd things that Jay-Z did during his younger years that he would like most people to forget about. But one incident can never be forgotten. On November 30th, 1999, during a party at Kit Kat Club, Jay-Z stabbed Rivera and somehow managed to escape 15 years of prison. How? You are about to find out.
That's life. Everything is life. It happens for you. Everything is for your greatest good.
Jay-Z is the world's most famous rapper name. He has more #1 albums in the United States by a solo artist than anybody else in history, has received 10 Grammy Awards, and has sold over 50 million albums worldwide. Born in the heart of New York City and raised in the Marcy public housing projects, Sean Carter went through tough times in his younger years, growing up surrounded by turmoil, economic inequality, and widespread drug use. Carter recreated himself as Jay-Z, the self-proclaimed god of rap. Jay-Z once said in an interview, "I think when you make music, you want people to hear different things, and then you want it to start a dialogue, because that's how we get to understanding." And today, he has become one of the most successful musical artists in history, as well as the owner of his own entertainment company, clothing line, record label, and more.
People change. People change around you because they start treating you different because of your success.
However, Jay-Z's meteoric rise to stardom didn't happen overnight. From his early years in Brooklyn to his marriage to Beyoncé, he went through a lot to get where he is today. According to Tech Rock, Jay-Z explained his career saying, "The easy and safe thing to do would be to recreate the last album. I don't want to have a safe career. Sometimes you're not going to agree with the stuff that I do, but I'm going to take the challenges. I'm going to bring people new and exciting stuff so that I can grow as an artist, and then hip-hop can grow." And Jay-Z literally brings exciting stuff from his very young days. If you look at his youth days, Jay-Z remained a drug dealer in his younger days. Jay-Z spent his childhood in Bedford-Stuyvesant, a section of Brooklyn, New York that is predominantly made up of people of African descent. But Jay-Z's father left his mother to raise their 4 children on her own. He was one of those children. Jay-Z claimed that his father was also addicted to substances and alcoholism.
Got a chance to tell him, how I was affected by him leaving and things like that, then, that I was cool with it.
Jay attended a variety of schools during his childhood because his family lived in the Marcy houses.
I had no aspirations, no plans, no goals, no backup goals. Just like, I'm like, how's that gonna happen? Doing what?
Jay attended the same high school as 2 young guys who would later become known as the Notorious B.I.G. and Busta Rhymes. As happens to many young men who are aimless, he became involved in the distribution of crack as a drug dealer. He was the target of multiple gunshots, but people have always loved Jay-Z. One person said, "People like Jay-Z embody the real American dream." Even the Blaze's Tommy Lahren alleged that the music star was perpetuating the great battle of the races. For 14 years, he sold crack cocaine. But Jay-Z himself has been very outspoken about his history in an illegal pharmaceutical business. He has done so both in songs and in interviews. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Jay-Z revealed some personal details about his history, including the fact that he once sold substances to make ends meet. Jay-Z explained, "Crack was everywhere. It was inescapable. There wasn't any place you could go for isolation or a break. You go in the hallway. There are crackheads in the hallway. You look out in the puddles on the curbs. Crack vials are littered." But Jay-Z has come clean and acknowledged that despite making his living off of selling crack, he has never tried using it himself. And public came out for his support as one of them commented, "If you've ever been around wealthy people who do drugs, it's actually very believable. A lot of them don't look at it." Therefore, people believe that Jay-Z had to deal with the real-world ramifications of his father not being there for the family, and he successfully fought his demons. But when Sean's older brother Eric became addicted to crack, Sean felt the need to support the family, so he took to the streets and began selling the same drug that had gotten his brother hooked in the first place.
There were no jobs available. The school system was shot.
Right.
So we had to hustle to find a different way to make means for ourselves.
Jay-Z revealed that throughout those years, he and everyone else in his immediate environment were taking crack cocaine, but he never even touched the substance himself. However, the amount of substances he was selling was unbelievable. Greenberg, a writer, wrote, "One person who spent time with both Jay-Z and DeHaven during the early 1990s estimates that Jay-Z was moving a kilogram of cocaine, a $12,000 value before the fourfold street markup, per week. He was definitely involved in the narcotics game," says the source, who asked to remain anonymous. Considering how young he was at the time, he must have also been affected by the fact that he was witnessing the impacts of the crack epidemic on both his brother and his father. He claims that he didn't fully see the repercussions of his drug peddling until he was much older, when he had been in the crack trade for a total of 14 years.
Anything without proper context, you can judge someone totally wrong.
At the time, all the other children were also engaging in the practice, so it was merely a means of substance. At one point, he believed that his only choices were to smoke it or sell it, and he ultimately decided to go with the second option. But insiders say that he soon left this bad habit, and even Jay-Z admitted that he tried his best to become a part of noble society as a noble person. He said, "Not until later, when I realized the effects on the community, I started looking at the community on the whole. But in the beginning, no. I was thinking about surviving. I was thinking about improving my situation. I was thinking about buying clothes." But when he got to know that his brother had been addicted to crack, Jay-Z literally ended up shooting him. And to this day, Jay-Z hates to talk about this incident. According to some magazines and theories, Jay-Z used to keep a gun with him because the area in which he was living was so dangerous and notorious that having a gun became very important. And so did Jay-Z.
How about 99? Is that the magic number, Jay-Z?
Well, 99 problems, that's pretty much.
Jay-Z explained during an interview how he got a gun to shoot Eric. "I went to someone's crib, someone's house, and got it. Guns were everywhere. You didn't have to go far to get one, just everywhere." But the main reason behind shooting his brother was a ring. Jay-Z's brother Eric stole his ring, and that's why he shot him without controlling his anger. But luckily, Eric decided not to pursue legal action and even requested that Sean pay him a visit the next day to the hospital. And Eric used the opportunity to apologize to his brother for the harm that his drug addiction had caused to their relationship. Jay-Z said in an interview, "I thought my life was over. I thought I'd go to jail forever. It was terrible. I was a boy, a child. I was terrified." But some theories say that there was a greater reason behind this shot. According to DeHaven, who was in the same school as Jay-Z, Jay-Z was a big bully in the school. DeHaven claimed that he did everything a gang could do at that time. And everyone was so scared of Jay-Z that they had to take the alternative route because Jay-Z used to have an illegal gun too.
And they believed Eric was stealing from all of the members of the family to try and feed his drug habit.
But later on in 2001, Jay-Z was arrested for possessing an illegal gun and involving some gang activities. Also later on, it was also revealed by a neighborhood woman that keeping a gun in that area was not normal, which ruined Jay-Z's claim. The woman said, "It's like he was trying to normalize murder. That's a lack of sensitivity." But Jay-Z's arrest started when Jay-Z's bodyguard, Hamza Hewitt, was allegedly discovered to have a loaded weapon concealed in his waistband at a club. Jay-Z was detained after being apprehended outside of a Manhattan nightclub on accusations related to the illegal possession of firearms. But at that time, Jay-Z's attorney was very confident that he would be released soon. Jay-Z's attorney claimed, "We believe that the evidence in this case will show Jay-Z to be not guilty. We expect a quick resolution. I would like to point out that numerous other celebrities have often used armed security guards." However, all stories agree that Sean found the whole thing to be very frightening. Even though he was involved in additional gunfights over the course of his life, the first time he ever actually fired his weapon at a living human being was his brother.
I'm glad it didn't have to take for me to be in jail for like 7 years to be like, damn.
But Jay-Z has one such incident in his life, which literally turned the tables for him as a rapper. And that incident was his well-recognized beef with Rivera. It is not like they had always been enemies of each other. They have always respected each other and also had a long-term relationship regarding business and the other things too. Jay-Z released his 4th studio album, and Rivera, who is the head of Unentertainment and Rivera Productions, was a co-producer on a song that was recorded for the album. Rivera received a co-producing credit for Jay-Z's Volume 3, Life and Times. Even Aaron Burke, a spokesperson for Rivera, said, Rivera and Jay-Z definitely had a working relationship. They knew each other for a long time. They both grew up in Brooklyn together. Biggie Smalls, a close friend and business partner of Rivera, and Jay-Z worked on albums together. But this incident made them more than enemies. Jay-Z was taken into custody in December 1990 after an argument the night before at the Kit Kat Club in Manhattan. Jay-Z was being investigated by the police on suspicion of assaulting Rivera by stabbing him in the back and chest and beating him in the head with a bottle. Rivera was so badly hurt that he received medical care at the hospital and was discharged the following day. Should he be found guilty, the rapper could spend up to 25 years behind bars.
Don't just spend the whole time just looking at me and messing with me. Back up a little bit. Beans the straight off the street.
The attack on Rivera came 2 hours after Jay-Z performed at a listening party for Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter at Irving Plaza. Employees at the Kit Kat Club said that Jay-Z was at the club that night with Ice-T, Eve, Sean Puffy Combs, and other hip-hop artists. According to several people with knowledge of the rap industry, Jay-Z felt that Rivera was distributing illegal copies of his next Rockefeller Def Jam album Volume 3, The Life and Times of S. Carter, which is not scheduled to be released. After that, Murray Richmond, Jay-Z's defense attorney, stated that he obtained a videotape filmed in December at the Kit Kat Club that shows Jay-Z standing on the side throughout the fight.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
Witnesses allegedly saw Jay-Z thrust a knife into the back and stomach of the president of Unentertainment Records, Lance Rivera. These accounts were relayed to the police by the witnesses.
Assault with a deadly weapon.
They would have never let me be.
But strangely, Jay-Z and his attorney went to the station house for the Midtown South Precinct to surrender themselves to the authorities. Rivera was transported to St. Vincent's Hospital, where he received treatment for multiple stab wounds. Even one witness said, Jay-Z walked up to Rivera and said, "Lance, you broke my heart." Rivera said, "What?" Then Jay-Z pulled out a knife and stabbed Rivera, the witness said. The staff at Unentertainment Records were taken aback when they learned of the incident, and they described it as coming out of the blue. Joy Brown, Unentertainment's publicity director, said, "We're very surprised. As far as I knew, they were friends. They were both from Brooklyn and were comrades." But some people also did not believe the incident because Jay-Z and Rivera had known each other since the days when they were both close friends with the prominent rapper known as the Notorious B.I.G. And regarding this, Harvey Slovis, who represented Jay-Z, has stated that his client was not responsible for stabbing Rivera. He said, "He was not involved," Slovis said last night. "We initiated him turning himself in. He's a sweet guy. It's out of his nature to do a thing like this." In reality, Jay-Z was quite incensed over the piracy of his unreleased CD, which was going for a price of $5 on the black market. Jay-Z explained the situation, saying, "One night I went to Q-Tip's solo album release party, and at some point in the night, I ran into the guy everyone's been telling me is behind the bootleg. So I approached him. When I told him what I suspected, to my surprise, he got real loud with me right there in the middle of the club. It was strange." He continued, "We separated and I went over to the bar. I was sitting there like, no, the F this did not. I was talking to people, but I was really talking to myself out loud, just in a state of shock. Before I even realized what I was doing, I headed back over to him, but this time I was blacking out with anger." And according to some people, it was natural for Jay-Z to show anger. When asked by an interviewer about his pride in maintaining a lesser profile than other rappers, Jay-Z responded that he takes pride in doing so. He boasted, "I ain't flashy like some of these other, owning 3 cars, wearing a whole bunch of gold and showing off. I just did my thing quietly." But this incident was so intense and people were in awe because they had been friends for so long. There were even several statements coming out from everybody. One of the police officers said, "A member of Jay-Z's posse hit Lance over the head with a bottle. Then Jay-Z stabbed him with a 9-inch knife. Then one of his buddies punched the other guy with Un in the face and hit him with a bottle, causing a small laceration. Then members of Jay-Z's group continued punching and kicking them." But some speculate that he fled the scene, hiding out in the Trump Hotel on Central Park West and monitoring the press coverage. No one was found when police visited his residence in Fort Lee, New Jersey. He decided to surrender on December 3rd after speaking with his criminal defense attorney in the afternoon. 2 counts of first-degree assault and 2 of second-degree assault were filed against the rapper. After being arraigned at 2:30 in the morning, he was able to post $50,000 bail and go free later that day. On December 6, 2001, Jay was given a 3 probationary term after pleading guilty in October 2001 to a charge of third-degree assault. During that time, he was not allowed to leave the state of New York without the approval of his probation supervisor. Before entering the plea, he faced up to 15 years in prison if convicted of felony assault in the second degree. After Jay's arrest, Rivera filed a civil action against him, but they ultimately settled out of court for roughly $1 million, and Rivera never filed the suit. But now, after 24 years, Rivera has come to the realization that it was not Jay-Z who stabbed him.
We all helped each other back then, right? We supported each other.
A recent interview on Vlad Rivera revealed that Jay-Z never stabbed him, but there are other people. Rivera said, "I ended up getting surrounded by a bunch of people. It was probably 10 knives that I knew of, and I ended up getting stabbed." When Vlad asked Rivera whether or not Jay-Z had stabbed him, Rivera said emphatically, "No, Jay-Z was not the guy that actually stabbed me that night." Rivera has acknowledged that he and Jay did, in fact, talk on that particular evening, but he now offers his point of view of the interaction. "Me and Jay-Z had a conversation right before I got hit in the head with a champagne bottle. It was a brief conversation, and I was looking at him like, 'What are you talking about? You know you effing the money up right now.' Considering all these traumatic events, some people really sympathize with Jay-Z that he must have gone through so much, and thinking that Jay-Z has been suffering from this trauma for 24 years is also very hurtful. But where are the witnesses?" That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.